How's it going, everybody? Aaron, Siegfried's Motorwerx, here today taking you guys out on a test ride video of this 2014 Genuine Scooter Company Stella with a sidecar. This is one of our collection. This is not one that we're going to be selling. So, at any rate, let's take you guys out and show you what a scooter with a sidecar is all about. I'll just show you a couple quick features on it. Big glove box there. In the actual cart, you have this big storage compartment there. No underseat storage on the Stella, and then we did add this 4-point harness just because I take my son on this scooter. So that is not stock part of the Stella. That's an add-on that we did. So, sorry, I had it run just so it was good and warm. When you're starting the Stella, it's not like a normal scooter where you have the brake in, you have your clutch in, because this is a manual scooter. So, as far as shifting it, it's like a bicycle: first, neutral, second, third, fourth, and that just rolls on the thing there. So, let's get this test ride going. Oh, there's my paper. I was gonna say I thought I lost it. Okay. Let's get this deal going. Ooh. Sorry, the road's right by our house here in Destin, Florida. We're on vacation, so just taking a little bit of time away to do a couple YouTube videos for you guys. Woo! Alright, as we're going down through here, let me just bust out a couple quick facts for you guys about this Stella. So this is a 2014 Genuine Scooter Company Stella. This is a 150cc 4-stroke. It is a shifty. Alright, let me just bang through. 8.3 horsepower, 60 mile per hour top speed without the sidecar is what they claim. Has a 260 pound wet weight, 32.3 inch seat height, and a 2.1 gallon fuel tank. Okay, now that we're done being super dangerous. So, Stellas. If you're not familiar with the Stella, that is one of Genuine Scooter Company's old scooters. It's probably one of the more iconic scooters this Genuine Scooter Company's made. I mean, the Buddy for sure is probably the most, but the Stella is definitely in the top there. It was produced by LML. LML is an India-based company that in the 70s began producing the PX series Vespas for the Piaggio company. Vespa reached out and they had actually a bunch of places making them. LML was one of those places. Throughout their tenure with Vespa, they became the largest producer of the PX Vespa. Almost every single motor and almost every single chassis for the PX scooters of Vespa were done by LML in India. In the year 2000, Vespa cut ties with LML. However, part of their deal was that LML retained the licensing. So then comes this scooter. It's not that the Genuine is any different. LML made these scooters for a bunch of people. Genuine Scooter Company is the one that imported them into the United States, and when they brought them into the United States, they were badged as Genuines then. So we'll turn right here. The most annoying part about a Stella is the super awesome turn signal chime. So, other than that, there's really nothing I don't like about the scooter other than that super annoying thing, because especially too, if you're riding it like in a pack of people, like for example, my dad was actually riding this the other day and I was like 4 scooters ahead of him and could still hear that obnoxious turn signal chime. So that's a little bit annoying to listen to. But other than that, no, I mean, there's nothing too annoying about the Stellas. The Stellas really get a bad rap I know customers of mine like to say that if they go out to their Stella and there's no bolts under them or oil under them, it's because there's no bolts or oil left to fall out. I don't know how true that is. This thing's been super kind to us while we've owned it. I think we've had this thing for maybe like 8 months. Now we did buy this thing in non-running condition, so we kind of rolled the dice, paid probably a little bit too much for it, but just, you don't see Stellas very often, and you really don't see them with sidecars very often. So the higher purchase price came solely from the fact that we wanted the sidecar. Plus it's matching, so the Stella itself is the slate and cream, and the sidecar is matched to that. So that was a big thing where, you know, we really wanted the sidecar more than anything. So we did pay a little bit more for it than we probably should have, especially non-running. I think we paid like $3,500 for this scooter. I was pretty confident it wasn't going to take much to fix it. I mean, non-running, we disconnected the cart and serviced just the scooter. Carb clean, air filter, spark plug, and I think that was it. We did some adjustments like the clutch and a couple little odds and ends like that. This trip down to Florida is the most it's been ridden. It's a little too slow for Pennsylvania roads where we're from. It's perfect for like down here in Destin, Florida here. It's like 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour roads. You can just kind of cruise along. No one's really expecting you to be, you know, breaking the sound barrier everywhere you go. Back home it's just a little too fast. So we did ride this a few times back home, but it's more of like a novelty back home. Or like down here, I mean, realistically, if I lived in Florida, if I lived down here, I could ride this thing daily and it wouldn't be an issue. But back home it's just a little too slow. So it doesn't really get a ton of miles back home, but we're gonna change the oil after this trip. As long as everything's good, nothing's funky in the oil here, we're just going to return to regularly scheduled oil changes from this point out. But yeah, it has a sidecar, so it attaches up at the front on the steering stabilizer here on this big beam, and then this other post here. There's a big plate welded underneath or bolted underneath the floorboard here. And man, what else? I think that's really, I mean, there's not a whole lot holding this thing on other than those things. I mean, I guess that's a lot, but so there's a bunch of things I really like about this Stella. I mean, obviously it's a sidecar. The sidecar makes everybody look at it. It gets attention everywhere it goes. We don't have it logoed. We really should, just because I've seen a lot of people take pictures of it, especially down here, where we have it parked at different spots. So we probably should get it logoed. We don't have it logoed yet, but I think we will at some point. It looks super old. I mean, just in conversations with people, when they ask about it, most people assume that this is a 70s year scooter. When you tell them that it's a 2014, they kind of look at it in disbelief, which, I mean, I get it, but it is based off of that 70s series, 70s year Vespa. So I can see where they think it's an older scooter. Riding it was a little cumbersome at first. Like, I have never, prior to riding this scooter, I had never ridden anything that had a sidecar attached to it. So riding it took didn't take a little bit of time to get used to, I should say. I mean, it did and it didn't. The biggest thing is, there's no outlet up here. The biggest thing when you are, we'll actually use this road up here because it looks like no outlet. So as far as this thing goes, I mean, so obviously it is a Stella. It's a SHIFTY. So if you delete the SHIFTY out of it and you're just worried solely about how is it riding with a sidecar, so if you're gonna go, let's go in first gear here. If you're gonna go in first gear like this, and you're going down through, and you have to like make a left-hand turn, Lefts are super easy. You just crank the wheel and hold on, because you have the cart over here that's going to keep you from going anywhere. The turn that's hard is your right. So if you actually lift the cart up when you go, and the best thing that I did is I just kind of took this thing out in our parking lot one day and practiced that, because so the first time I rode this, if you guys follow our channel at all, you know that it's myself and then there's normally Kyle. Kyle's a big boy too, but Kyle and I, when we put the thing together, when we put the scooter together, we were riding it, and I actually took him across town. His truck was getting the inspection done across town. Took him across town, dropped him off, and was riding home. And you know, going through town, there's this little S-turn. I'd been riding the thing all day, so you know, I was a Stella sidecar expert in my mind. And I went into this S-turn a little too hot, and the left-hand side, and then when I went to go to the right-hand side, like, it just took me off guard when the cart lifted. And I mean, if there's a car coming, I would have got railed because it's way wide in that lane. But either way, so at that point, then the next day when I brought the scooter back to work, I took it out in the parking lot, and I just practiced lifting the cart off the ground and getting used to that feeling of the, you know, balancing it. And once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, definitely at first, you kind of have to be wary of how you're riding it and where you're riding it. The easiest way to describe riding a scooter with a sidecar is you are along for the ride. not the scooter. I mean, this thing, if you're watching the video, you can kind of see, I mean, it's a wobbly ride, it's a shaky ride. If you find a crack in the road, you're going there. You go wherever the scooter wants to go. So that definitely takes a little bit of getting used to in comparison to not. And the other thing is, so the steering is super heavy. Like my right arm right here, if I was to ride this thing for a while, I start to feel a little bit of a burn there, because it is a super heavy front end, just because of that steering stabilizer up here, and obviously all this extra weight balancing on the right side of the scooter. So that's the only thing that's kind of different as far as riding a scooter with a sidecar, is you are not really in control. You're just kind of going with the motions here. So yeah, but at any rate, what else would you want to know about riding a scooter with a sidecar? I don't know. Yeah, so from that, actually, if you watch, and I don't know if I'll do it or not, but if you watch, so actual LML has on their own YouTube channel, I don't know if it's actually LML, I'll put a link in it, I will do that. They actually show on their sample video of these things, they show 3 dudes, so one guy in the riding position, one dude on the back seat, and then another guy in the cart. I mean, these are all full-size adults, and they're just barreling around town in like the small streets of India. I mean, it looks like it was filmed with a razor, but they're just barreling around town 3 deep on the scooter. So potentially, I guess this could be a 3-seater, but that's kind of your prerogative. I mean, I've had, like I said, myself and Kyle on this, and that was felt like a little bit of a tall order for it. A couple of other weird features. I mean, now these are Stella specific, and they do carry it over to the sidecar. But so this is a split wheel design. So your wheels actually go from a hub. You do have a spare tire underneath this left side rear panel there. So you have that going for it. But yeah. Another thing, so with the sidecar is, like, when you're going into right-hand turns like this, I just kind of shift my weight over to the right, and you can kind of rail through turns on this thing I mean, as fast as railing through turns are when you're doing 35, but on a scooter like this, and like I said, I mean, you're just along for the ride. 35 is kind of cooking, but you just kind of lean to the right and you can make do. Now the left-hand turn, that's super easy. I mean, you don't have to think about that. You can just, and there's my brother-in-law and sister. Top speed I've seen on this thing, I've only done like 45 on it. Anyways, prepare your ears. We're gonna smack on this chime as we make our way back home. Oh, that's another thing. When I was reading online looking for things that I could talk about with this video, people complain about the footboard brake lever, and I don't get that, because I mean, I have other scooters like that, Honda Helix, different things like that, and I never had an issue with a floor-mounted foot brake, but people apparently just don't like those here. So I don't know. I've always liked it. Another thing that I do like that they did on this was, so this glove box you can lock and unlock. I know a lot of them you have to have them, like you unlock them to open them. This I like that you can like throw stuff in as you're going down through. So, moral of this story is, if you can find a Stella and it's a shifty, skip the 125 automatic ones. They're kind of worthless in my opinion. If you're gonna buy a 125cc automatic Stella, just buy a 125 Buddy or like a Vino 125. The 4-stroke 150cc shifties and the 2-stroke 200 shifties, if you can buy them, do it. If you can't, great. If you find a Stella with a side cart and you have the money, buy one. It's super fun. You get a lot of looks no matter where you go, so I would highly recommend that as well. But either way, thank you so much for watching. This is our scooter, so this scooter's not going anywhere. Now I am going back to the cold, so as far as that goes. But if there's anything you guys want to see specifically on Stellas with side carts, leave a comment, let me know, hit the bell, and thank you guys so much for watching.